Chandraprakash Joshi and myself and Prachi Agrawal, who is the other faculty member with ixamBee. So we two are taking this session, and the idea is to give you a guidance that how you shall prepare for SEBI grade interview, and then you know that we are going to conduct a one-on-one interview, so that will help you in further interaction and also knowing about particularly where you can improve something. Right. So starting with a brief overview that what we are going to cover in this session today. Very simple. We'll keep it very short. We will cover how to prepare for personal interview question. These are going to be a small part of your preparation, and in the real interview there may be a question related to your personality, and sometimes there may not be. So there is no guarantee that there will be questions related to like hobbies. Sorry, I have a bad throat. Yeah. What you like, what you don't like, your achievement, your successes, failures, what book you have read, what place you belong to, etc. Then we will be talking about some journal questions, how to prepare for that. So, and technical questions, where we will be spending more time giving you some examples and the sources from where you can prepare that. So, first, which is going to take less time, is about the personal interview. So, personal interview, if I have to tell you it in one sentence, three words actually, it's know about yourself. So, you have to know yourself well. Now, you will say, I know myself very well. So, we all feel that we know ourselves very well. But when it comes to describing, then sometimes it becomes challenging. So, for example, if I ask you, describe yourself in three words, or if you have to tell what is the one best quality you have, or which one thing which demotivates you at workplace, one word which most of your friends would like to say about you. So this kind of thing, when suddenly asked, becomes difficult to answer, and then we feel puzzled. Here, there is no right or wrong answer. So you really just need to think around these questions. And these 5-10 questions you will find anywhere. Beyond that, it is not required that you do not need a list of 40 questions for personal interview. Only 5-10 important questions. All the answers will be around that. Nothing right, nothing wrong. Don't worry about if you think you are introvert, extrovert, or you are a reader, you are a traveler, you like friends, whatever. So whatever your hobbies, whatever your motivations, demotivations, absolutely no problem. But in these questions, we cannot say, I'm not sure, or sorry, I don't know. So we shall know. Just think, jot down, get these 10 12 questions from anywhere and jot down the pointers, only pointers. Because if details are required, sometime it may be okay. How do you, the panel may ask, you say you are very persistent. So can you tell anything from your life that shows the persistence in your behavior, so that you will be able to tell there itself. Now coming to the general question, the second part. General question mean to say what are the important things happening in the economy, right? So these important thing happening in the economy. So we are starting this from the economy. Economy is very important because ultimately all most of the things happening here are for the economic development, and here we are talking about the SEBI. So SEBI, the securities market regulator, capital market regulator, is playing important role in the economic development. So we shall know not only in Indian economy, even in the international level also, what are the important developments happening, because that also affect Indian economy. Nowadays, all economies are closely integrated. Then, what are the source? Study newspaper sorry, editorials related to economy and finance. We will come to these source again at the end. Now, technical question. So I'm just giving you a brief overview that how we and you shall actually think about what kind of technical questions can come. So first think about the financial market. So financial market, you must have for your phase two preparation, you must have understood about the financial market. You can understand it into two modes. One is like intermediary based, other is market based. Sorry, Indian financial system, the market based financial system, and the intermediary based. So here we are not talking about the intermediary based, which is basically banking and NBFC. That is primarily with RBI. So here financial markets means the the bond market, the forex market, capital market. So you have to understand all financial market and how they are integrated. Under that, especially you shall know more in depth about the securities market, and within the securities market also more about capital market, because in securities market, a part of it, bond market, RBI has also a lot of intervention, lot of regulation goes with RBI, but capital market is completely with SEBI. So you shall know then much more about SEBI, what SEBI does, other than sorry, other than say something which is not covered here. So anything which is important for SEBI, you shall know. If you think like this, because here this will be like endless, so you may not be able to go to like every financial news. So we are not asking you to read a business news, companies mergers, and likewise even in SEBI also you will not be able to grasp everything even if you read SEBI annual report. So that itself is so exhaustive, you may not be able to cover. So how to now pick up the important things in this, but wanted to give you the idea that how you are narrowing down your preparation, because SEBI interview, many of you are coming from non-finance background, and there are going to be questions related to securities market, capital market, and that requires proper understanding of the market, because sometimes based on some studies and when four options are available, finding out correct option is comparatively easier, but if you are supposed to explain, so that becomes sometimes challenging. So from here I am giving it to Prachi ma'am, so she is going to tell you the technical stuff, how we are going to deal and what are the sources, what kind of topics can be covered, and I am also available here for taking up any question.
Yeah, so good evening. As CP sir has explained about the technical part, that financial markets important, and within that securities market, capital market, and SEBI is of more relevance for the SEBI interview. So if we move on to the next slide, uh, here are technical questions, some important topics. Sorry, CP, your screen is still sharing. Sorry, CP, your screen is still sharing.
Yeah, because I thought you are going to talk on these, no?
Yeah. Okay,
So
so I'm
shall I stop
sharing.
sharing?
Yeah, this is okay. Fine.
Yeah, because I thought you are going to talk on these.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so I'm
shall I
sharing.
stop sharing?
Yeah, CP, you can stop. I will share it with you. So if we can see, The important topics for the SEBI exam, if we talk about, some will be the essay topics that came in the SEBI exam this year. So these were measures to combat climate change, ways to improve financial literacy. So the important topics that the essay topics basically that came in this year's paper. So you have an idea. You would have chosen only one of the topics to write in the exam, but from the exam for the interview purpose, it is better if you have certain understanding or some views on the other essay topics also that came in this paper, right? So that will be an important aspect. Another would be the importance of SEBI. So if when we are doing the SEBI paper, the SEBI interview, it becomes very important to understand the importance of SEBI per se, what its role is, how it has increased over the years, how it is becoming an independent regulatory body in gaining importance year by year. For the financial markets and securities market per se, so that becomes a very important aspect for you to know, have views on, and be able to speak in if any question pertaining to SEBI is asked in the interview. Another thing which I kept mentioning in the exam point of view also, insider trading is very important for SEBI to curb. So SEBI is much first most important reason for existence is that it has to protect the investor, right? Investor protection is very very important. So aspects related to that, laws related to that, acts related to that, all that becomes very important for technical knowledge in the interview. So insider trading aspects, how SEBI has played a role, what kind of rules and regulations it has brought in, what are the rules and regulations for investor protection, how does the SCOS work. So all this you would have prepared for the phase two also, and you need to know all these things for the from the interview point of view also. Right, public issues and the listing process is another technical topic which is of a lot of importance for your SEBI interview. REITs and InvITs are the latest additions. The real estate investment funds and the investment funds. So, rules and regulations related to that, and corporate governance in general is a very important topic. Here, you need to know about the Uday Kotak recommendations that have been passed and how they have to be implemented. So, all these are technical points, and otherwise also these are important topics. So the sources for these such type of topics is the SEBI website. You can look at the latest circulars, you can read the news articles in newspapers, and ICSI, the Indian company secretary's website, is also gives technical aspects on all these in learning form, so you can refer to that also. Moving on to the other important topics, one is uh, mutual funds. So what actually how you come at these important topics is on the SEBI website you would have noticed about the circulars, the latest circulars that are posted by SEBI. So whenever there is any change in the regulation or any other new um, regulation or law is implemented, there is a circular that is released, right? So those circulars will help you to know what is more important, what is the latest on the list for SEBI. So, right. So there has in the last 3 4 months, if you notice, there have been a lot of changes, lot of new regulations, lot of new allowances allowed to mutual funds. So that you need to know. All those become important from technical knowledge point of view, and also to speak in general in interview questions. FPI related questions are important because this has been the latest changes, and there have been a lot of them related to the bond market investments. Yes, so you need to know those. Then the steps that SEBI has undertaken to deepen the corporate debt market. So in this aspect, there was a circular related to, how the large corporates have to raise 25, at least 25% of the new borrowings from the corporate debt market. So that related circular is very very important. Why? Because in India, the stock market is very well, it's well developed. It's we will not say like it's a immature market. It's a mature market. However, despite so many years of existence of the stock market, the debt market still remains very very it's like, only the tip there is has been touched in the debt market. Still government is the major player, the corporates do not play much of a role. So and for any economy, a developed economy, and to move towards development, to have a deep corporate debt market is very very important. So that's why now SEBI has started focusing on the corporate debt markets. So this is an upcoming focus area for SEBI. So this is, been in focus for SEBI in the last 2 3 years, and it has been growing. So this is an important topic, and any regulations, any circulars related to this become very very important. So from technical questions point of view, this is an important topic. Another is commodity trading. Why? Because SEBI became the regulator in 2015, and it was given, and for many regulations, many aspects, 3 years were given for the implementation process, which got completed in 2018. So now all those the timeline that SEBI had given for the implementation of certain rules related to regulation of commodity trading, commodity derivatives trading in India, that have now fully been implemented. So 2018 was the year when it all got implemented in full. So this becomes important again, that everything is happening as per the regulations, that if SEBI is going to update any further regulations here. So commodity trading becomes another technical important topic for your interview purpose. So again, your sources are your SEBI website, the circular section, and whenever you do not understand much because certain circulars refer to back circulars or are sometimes written in legal language, then you can search for those the news articles and the editorials related to it to better understand what exactly rationale of SEBI is. So whenever you're reading any technical topic, also always try to understand what the rationale of SEBI was. That gives you the clarity to answer an interview. So writing on or giving an exam in an MCQ form and being able to talk about it is different. Okay, so for that, it is better you understand the rationale of SEBI to have taken certain step, right? Um, this is like other important topics which are important are the latest legal cases. However, this is like a more in-depth technical issue, right? So it is not like you have to understand and go through every legal case that is going on. Always remember, you do not have to become legal experts here. uh, if certain questions do come related to a legal case, you do not really have to understand the legal aspect, who is right or who is wrong. What is important for here is that you understand which why the case came up, like which regulation was violated, because of which a legal issue may have come up, right? So only to that extent you may need to know. Otherwise, do not get into the aspect of arguments, like who is right and who is wrong. You do not have to become a legal expert, and such kind of question will be like really technical if the interviewer is only focused on a technical kind of an interview. Only then you can have discussions on legal cases. Otherwise, please, you do not have to like go into a very in-depth understanding. So best way is that you read newspaper articles. If there is any important case, then it will be discussed in the newspapers. Otherwise, do not try to search legal books or the legal section of SEBI. Do not go there, right? Other important sources apart from your SEBI website is the SEBI annual report. It is very important to because it covers what of SEBI are, what the performance has been, what circulars, what different regulations, what updates in the regulations that SEBI has come out with. So it gives a, it's a one-stop shop for understanding all these aspects that are important, that have been important in the last year for SEBI. So please do go through a summary, or have a understanding of the annual report of SEBI. The other is the RBI's latest financial stability report. In that, again, the RBI discusses the entire financial markets and the entire economy per se. You do not have to go into the detail of the entire report, but there is a section about all regulators, okay, and what various steps, initiatives they have taken in terms of regulation of their particular whatever their area of domain is. So there will be all these initiatives taken by RBI, by SEBI, by PFRDA, by IRDA. So do read about that section which is related to SEBI. Okay, so that will give you a bird's eye view of what all happened, what all SEBI has done initiatives, and what rationale was behind those initiatives. So it's a very good summary for understanding that. Okay, so these are the various sources and topics that from technical point of view that we think are important. CP, you would like to add here again? Or if anybody you have any anybody has any queries, you can
Uh, well, I think the one thing, just a minute, I am trying to do the. So one thing is the economic survey. So in economic survey also, yeah, people can. So so this is the economic survey I have opened for because this is the latest economic survey. So there you can see there is a chapter on primary market development in capital market. Hmm. And here you shall study this because this summarizes about what has happened in the capital market in the year. So not that you have to read these numbers, but it will give you a good understanding of the market. Right. So go through this also. This is also a good source and a very comprehensive source what has happened in the capital market. So not much it will there. So that's additional from my side. Yeah, we can take the questions. Anything you feel. Don't we have questions really? Yeah, Dharambir, so we have been conducting RBI interviews for a long. Now RBI interviews are almost over because by the month end the actual interviews are also going over. So we will be starting then SEBI interview, because somehow we were like so engaged in RBI interview, it was not getting completed. So this session we have started for SEBI. So after this we are starting the interviews for mock interviews for SEBI. So you will get the details. No, Manoj, I think that shall be enough. If you have submitted the Google forms, we will contact you. So Dinesh, if you have no work experience, I don't think that you shall be nervous because of that. See, because there are many people who get selected in not only in SEBI exam, in all kind of exam, whether it is SEBI or NABARD or RBI or UPSC, because ultimately the interview is test of your personality, and in SEBI some technical knowledge also, because SEBI first time is conducting this exam for those who are coming from general side, I mean to say, earlier it was for specialist only. So now first time it is for engineers also, right? So maybe the technicality is less, otherwise till last year the questions were quite technical in case of SEBI interview. So your performance in the interview is going to award you marks, and more important than that, the contribution of the written marks are more, right? So for the work experience there is no additional marks, right? So there is no such marks that for work experience somebody will get 5 marks, so don't worry about it. It doesn't make any difference, neither positive nor negative. So sometimes what happens, if somebody is coming with a work experience of say working in some insurance company or mutual fund or a bank, the kind of expectations and the questions also increases, and if the performance is not up to the standard, so then the rating also is down. And I have sorry, I have seen this happening with the people, those who are coming from very reputed institutes, MBA finance, and then they are not able to handle an average level of question. So of course, the marks will be lesser in comparison to somebody who is coming with a degree in science or only an engineering degree. Hmm. Yeah, economic survey is expected to come, so that will be much more useful, Dharamveer. But normally, sorry, what happens that this gives you the trend. Anyhow, this data is not required for the exam. This is not that you have to read the entire economic survey. I was telling about the capital market portion. So you have interest, Manoj, in corporate finance, but I don't know whether they want to discuss that. So it depends, but in some of your reply, if the discussion goes in, see, interview again, it happens like 12, 15 minutes interview. So in which direction you take the discussion, that depends on so many factors. So Prachi, I think you can reply some of the question. Sorry, because the one question was there. Phase two syllabus. Shantana Panda has asked one question.
Yes. So, with respect to the entire syllabus, these are the some important topics which are more likely to be discussed from a technical point of view. It does not mean they cannot ask anything else. But given the fact that you have studied for phase two, I guess you will be able to speak on other topics also. But these were something that I think are more likely. You can never be sure. But also, as CP sir was telling, in an interview, a lot also depends on how you answer, because you can also, make an interview go in a certain direction, the way you answer certain questions. Okay, if you are, if you do not know any topic at all and you sit absolutely blank, then there can be in a technical round, I'm saying, then there can be things that they keep asking one after the other at some other technical topic. But if you are able to speak about certain things that you know of in a in a smarter way, you can also divert your interview towards what you know. So always be a little smart in that sense. Don't try to focus on being right, because in an interview, always being right is not what is expected. Like, you do not have to be 100% right. It's not like a point by point. If there is one question that you have to answer it right, only then the next question makes sense, or it will be cumulatively added. It's also a lot about your presentation and attitude, how you are taking up a certain question. So don't get scared or get nervous if you do not know certain answer to a technical question.
So, are we done with the questions? Otherwise, we will close the session for now, because anyhow we will be meeting in mock interviews. So that time you can ask if you have any one-to-one questions. Absolutely no problem. Most welcome. Shantana Panda is asking something.
Yeah, so for security market terms, you can refer to ICSI PPTs. You can refer to ixamBee course material. You can refer to SEBI website. In general, you can search for certain terms related to. So if you have to go by that, but don't try to study last minute the entire phase two syllabus is what I would suggest.
Yeah. So Amod has said this point, and this is right, that he is saying that he has worked in scheduled commercial bank for 3 years. So wherever you have worked, so expect questions around your work experience. Any one of you. So knowing yourself, actually, I should have mentioned there, because work experience is a very significant part of your professional life. So you shall know really well about your work experience. So thanks, guys. Thanks for attending and making it interesting. So we will be meeting most of you in one-to-one mock interviews, and feel free to contact to us. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.